Hello, awesome people! My name is Harold James Robinson II, and what does the Bible have to say about? Question number one from a dear friend I met years ago. What does the Bible say about musical instruments in worship? First of all, let's do a definition of the word worship. Worship means to bow down, to depress, to prostrate oneself before a superior in homage before God in worship. Basically, lifting God up, magnifying God, show obeisance, reverence to God. This can be done inside or outside of a standard worship service, with or without singing, with or without music. But since we're speaking of musical instruments with worship, let's begin. 1. The Ark of the Covenant returns to Jerusalem. 1 Chronicles 15, verses 1, 16 through 22, and 28 through 29. And David made him houses in the city of David, and prepared a place for the ark of God, and pitched for it a tent. And David spake to the chief of the Levites to appoint their brethren to be the singers with instruments of music, psalteries and harps and cymbals, sounding by lifting up the voice with joy. So the Levites appointed Heman the son of Joel, and of his brethren Asaph the son of Berechiah, and the sons of Merari their brethren, Ethan the son of Cushaiah, and with them their brethren of the second degree, Zechariah, Ben, Jaaziel, and Shemai Ramoth, and Jehiel, and Unani, Eliab, the porters, and Benaiah, and Masaiah, and Mattathiah, and Eliphelah, and Mikneiah, and Obed-Edom, and Jeiel, the porters. So the singers, Heman, Asaph, and Ethan were appointed to sound with cymbals of brass. And Zechariah and Aziel, and Shemai Ramoth, and Jeiel, and Unani, and Eliab, and Maaseiah, and Benaiah, with psalteries on Alamoth. And Mattathiah, and Eliphelah, and Mikneiah, and Obed-Edom, and Jeiel, and Azariah, with harps on the Sheminith to excel. And Chenaniah, chief of the Levites, was for song. He instructed about the song because he was skillful. Thus all Israel brought up the ark of the covenant of the Lord with shouting, and with sound of the cornet, and with trumpets, and with cymbals, making a noise with psalteries and harps. And it came to pass, as the ark of the covenant of the Lord came to the city of David, that Michal, the daughter of Saul, looking out a window, saw King David dancing and playing, and she despised him in her heart. Psalteries, harps, cymbals, lifting up the voice with joy, cornet, trumpets, musical instruments in celebration to the Lord. 2. The dedication of the temple in Jerusalem. 2 Chronicles 7, 1 through 7. Now when Solomon had made an end of praying, the fire came down from heaven and consumed the burnt offering and the sacrifices, and the glory of the Lord filled the house. And the priests could not enter into the house of the Lord, because the glory of the Lord had filled the Lord's house. And when all the children of Israel saw how the fire came down, and the glory of the Lord upon the house, they bowed themselves with their faces to the ground upon the pavement, and worshipped, and praised the Lord, saying, For he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. Then the king and all the people offered sacrifices before the Lord. And King Solomon offered a sacrifice of 22,000 oxen, and 120,000 sheep. So the king and all the people dedicated the house of God. And the priests waited on their offices, the Levites also with instruments of music of the Lord, which David the king had made to praise the Lord, because his mercy endureth forever, when David praised by their ministry. And the priests sounded trumpets before them, and all Israel stood. Moreover, Solomon hallowed the middle of the court that was before the house of the Lord, for there he offered burnt offerings and the fat of the peace offerings, because the brazen altar which Solomon had made was not able to receive the burnt offerings, and the meat offerings, and the fat. Instruments of music of the Lord, which David the king had made to praise the Lord, and even trumpets, musical instruments, and somber dedication to the Lord. 3. the dedication of the walls of Jerusalem. Nehemiah 12:40-43. So stood the two companies of them that gave thanks in the house of the Lord, and I, and the half of the rulers with me. And the priests, Eliakim, Maaseiah, Menahem, Micaiah, Elioenai, Zechariah, and Hananiah with trumpets. And Maaseiah, and Shemaiah, and Eleazar, and Uzziah, and Jehohanan, and Malchijah, and Elam, and Ezer. And the singers sang loud with Jezreiah, their overseer. Also that day they offered great sacrifices and rejoiced, for God had made them rejoice with great joy. The wives also and the children rejoiced, so that the joy of Jerusalem was heard even afar off. Trumpets, singers, who even had an overseer, great sacrifices, rejoiced, great joy. Musical instruments used outside of the church. Now, 4, you can also look in the praise and worship book of the Bible and even the prophets. From a purely biblical perspective, music was used in public celebrations, somber dedications, public events, and praise and worship. Therefore, what does the Bible say about musical instruments and worship? Plenty! In other words, play on! God bless you, and remember, leave your questions and comments down below, and together with the help of God, we'll find the answer. Any questions?